Hello everyone, welcome back to Bleed Electrical. This is course on energy management and audit and I'm Triveli Naidu from the Department of Electrical Engineering at St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur. In this video and the upcoming videos, I'll be talking about material and energy balance and waste heat recovery. We'll be talking on system and its types, then processes and its types, what is material and energy balance, Sankey diagrams, types of material balance problems, that are the numericals. We'll be discussing on what is energy balance and its numericals. Then we'll be studying on cogeneration, the need of cogeneration. So let's start with some basics, that is system and its types. What is a system actually? A system is a collection of different objects on which you need to do the analysis. Secondly, a system has a definite boundary and the system boundary has to be chosen at the beginning of the analysis. Once a system is defined through the choice of a system boundary, everything that is external or outside the system boundary is known as the system surrounding. Then all the energy and material can be transferred or exchanged between the system and the surroundings. So to understand this, if this is a system, then this becomes its boundaries, known as system boundaries, and everything that is outside the system boundaries becomes the system surroundings. Let's understand what are the types of systems. Now you have an open system. Open system is a system in which the mass gets inside and the mass can be transferred outside. That is, there is an exchange between material. Similarly, there is also an exchange between energy. So, mass can get inside and it comes outside. Energy can get inside and it comes outside. So, this is what is an open system. An open system can exchange heat, work and material with the surroundings. Then closed system. Closed system is the system in which there is only exchange of energy. There's no exchange of material or mass. So if heat and work are exchanged across a system's boundary but material is not, it is a closed system. Then what about isolated system? There is no exchange or no transfer of mass and energy. So an isolated system is a system that does not exchange heat, work or material with the surroundings. So these are the types of systems. So open system, closed system and isolated system. Now, for example, if you want to understand what is an open system, let us take this cup of tea. Now you find that this cup is hot. That means there is an exchange of heat. There is an exchange of energy. And also you find this vaporizing. So vapors are also going upwards. That means there is a constant exchange of mass. So that means there is exchange of energy. Also there is exchange of mass. So we call this as an open system. Whereas this system, we find that there's a lid over this cup. So there's no exchange of the mass because no vapors are coming out of this cup. But this cup is hot. That means there is exchange of energy. So this is known as the closed system. What about this thermos? Thermos does not exchange the energy as well as nor the material. So this becomes your isolated system because if we touch this thermos, it is not hot. Okay, it is designed in such a manner. So these are the examples of the types of systems. Now let us see why we as an energy auditor or an energy manager need to study this. Because what happens in an industry is you're feeding a material, raw material to the input unit and there will be subsequent units of operation. So let us take these as the subsequent units of operation. So this is known as a process stream and you get finally a product with also generating some waste products. This as a whole is known as a process. So to understand this process becomes really important to us. Now, what is a process? When there is a change from initial state to the final state of a thermodynamic equilibrium, this system is known to undergo a process. So there has to be a change of the system from an initial value to a final value. So We can represent this process in the following manner. We can have 2-3 units of operation like the previous unit operation, the unit operation. We could feed some energy to this. We could feed raw material. We could control this, and we get in turn we get a wasted energy, because not all energy will be utilized into useful work. Okay, so we'll be having subsequent unit operation. Then as a result, we'll get byproduct and wasted energy. So this could be the thing. Now types of processes, or we can talk about manufacturing. Okay, now we'll basically talk about batch manufacturing, semi-batch, continuous and semi-continuous manufacturing. Now batch manufacturing, what is this batch manufacturing? In batch manufacturing, all the materials are charged before the start of the processing and discharged at the end of the processing. It is altogether given the fed, it is the input or raw material is altogether given at the starting, and at the end altogether all the product is taken out. Okay, so there is no constant going in of the product or coming out of the product. Okay, so this is batch manufacturing. If you want to understand batch manufacturing, we can take these examples: bin blending, lyophilization, and some other reactions. This is basically for medicine production. Lyophilization is nothing but the removal of water or the moisture content in these chemicals, Then you have continuous manufacturing. Continuous manufacturing is when you are giving the material simultaneously and discharging from the process also. So simultaneously things are done. So input is also given, at the same time output is also taken out. So for this, the example could be petroleum refining or food processing. Then semi-batch manufacturing. This process is also known as fed batch manufacturing process. Then materials are added during the processing and discharged at the end. Okay. So the raw material is given initially and back to back, okay? And the final result or the output is taken at the end, not continuously. So this becomes a semi-batch manufacturing. Then semi-continuous, like continuous manufacturing, but for a discrete period of time when you take it, the output or the input. So this is the example could be the roller compaction, the tablet compression. This could be the example of semi-continuous manufacturing. So we saw what is batch manufacturing, continuous manufacturing, semi-batch manufacturing, then semi-continuous manufacturing. Let us understand these manufacturing processes with an example. Now you find this an example of a traditional tablet manufacturing process. Now let us take for example, now we are struggling with the COVID-19 situations and we are being recommended to have the multivitamin tablets. So what is it actually, how is it prepared? Okay, so like initially there is a blending process, means altogether see multivitamin tablet is comprising of so many minerals and vitamins, okay, vitamins B12, this that. So altogether there's a blending of so many contents, okay. Then there is a wet granulation, means small little mixture is now made into small little tablets. So altogether it is, there is a formation, a solid formation, so that wet granulation, that is a semi batch process. Then obviously there could be a drying, this is wet indeed, okay, so we have to dry it. So this drying process is a batch manufacturing, because once you give it for drying, then you let it dry and then finally you get the output. That is what is the batch manufacturing. You continuously don't keep giving and continuously you don't get the product back. So this is the batch manufacturing. Then milling, blending, then you compress these medicines, okay, that is the compression part, so that is a semi continuous process. Then coating, okay, that is the semi batch process. That is how you can understand the manufacturing processes at different point of time. So this is the example of a traditional tablet manufacturing process. So why do we actually need to have material and energy balance calculations? Because as an energy manager or an energy auditor, we should be able to evaluate specific consumption of material and energy. Okay, then you should be able to find the losses of material and energy, And then thirdly, you should be able to determine the reason for malfunctioning of the process units, because this is the factors in which the energy is getting wasted. And if you stop the energy from getting wasted, then you save a lot of money, because we had earlier discussed that the major amount of money goes into energy production only. So if we use this energy wisely and we save this energy, we can save a lot of money and in turn generate profits to the organization or firm we are working at. So this is the need of material and energy balance calculation. So that's all for this video. In the upcoming videos, I'll be talking more upon this unit. Thank you.